Here we're looking at a small block oxygen blender. This one in particular is a Bird or Carefusion. They're the pioneers of the small block and have been making them for a long time, and most of the predecessors afterwards basically copied or mimicked how these were manufactured. So small blocks can be known as being small, but they're not always small like this. Typically they will be. What it really means is just how they're manufactured. So the structure of the product. And when we look at the side, you can see that there's basically 4 blocks or aluminum blocks. In between the halves here, you'll have a diaphragm internally, and in between the halves here, you'll have another diaphragm. When we open these up and perform the overhaul on them, those diaphragms are going to be switched out along with all the other overhauled parts and pieces. But this is what we talk about with a small block blender. Here's another version of a small block blender. This is a unique blender. You can tell it has a plastic casing around the outside. This is a precision small block blender. Internally, there are some small differences between this and the other small block blenders. They use a composite diaphragm as opposed to a silicone rubber diaphragm. But other than that, all the function and form and fit, they're all the same. If I were to take off this plastic case, you would see that you're going to have your 4 blocks internally. You're going to have your alarm assembly, and everything else is going to be very similar. But the precision does look very unique as opposed to the other types of blenders you would see. It does also just have that function on the front where you get to adjust, or the clinical staff can adjust the amount of oxygen being delivered. But again, very similar in function to all the other blenders. That's your small block oxygen blender.